Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to episode 13 of my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. Today, we're going to talk about rejection. I know everyone who's listening to this podcast has experienced some type of rejection, whether it's from a spouse or a partner, or a job or a friend, or an opportunity that you wanted. Intellectually, we all know that in life sometimes we get rejected. We shouldn't always take it personally, and how we show up for rejection really makes a difference. But emotionally, we often take rejection very personally. And sometimes we even close our hearts and we don't even realize it. Sometimes rejection stops us from engaging in life fully. We think to ourselves that we got past a relationship or we got past not getting a job, but there could be something inside of us that shuts down. And sometimes we don't pursue the things in our lives the same way because we want to avoid the hurt. But by always trying to avoid the hurt of rejection, we also could avoid so much that's possible in our lives. Mark Twain once said, "We should be careful to get out of an experience only the wisdom that is in it, and stop there, lest we be like the cat that sits down on a hot stove lid. She will never sit down on a hot stove lid again, and that is well, but also she will never sit down on a cold one anymore." So we need to be careful not to let rejection close us down. Rejection can definitely be a learning experience, but it's our job to learn from it and stay open and move on when we are ready, and also see what else could happen in our lives. But unfortunately, rejection often makes us feel that things are not possible, that we're not capable, that we can never have what we want. Just like the cat, we can limit our experiences based on what happened to us yesterday. And it's so interesting that we also personalize rejection, like it only happens to us. I remember years ago when my children were young, I went to a store called Bye Bye Baby in New York City. It's a retail store for babies and toddlers. And in front of me on the checkout line was an A-list actor, a big actor, and he was speaking on his cell phone. I assumed he was speaking to his agent based on his conversation. I remember he said to his agent, "I can't stand the fact that I don't get the parts in the movies that I want." And he started to list other actors like Brad Pitt. And he said, "They always get the movie parts, and I don't get those parts. I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of getting rejected." I remember standing behind him thinking, "Are you kidding me? You are this famous actor that's had so much success." But that is how he felt. It made me see that we all have these feelings of being rejected, and yet we often think we are the only one. And you would think as we get older we would deal with rejection better. But even my 83-year-old mother calls me sometimes to tell me how upset she is that she didn't get invited to a party or a card game. And I can remember a few years ago, I was continuously excluded from a carpool with a few moms to go to my daughter's soccer game when there was extra room in the car, and it used to make me feel terrible. These rejections could make you not want to be social and not even go to your daughter's soccer game. I don't know exactly how the big actor felt, but rejection often makes us want to shut down, because if we shut down, we don't have to deal with it anymore. We could build a life with less pain, with less people, and we could just get by, and we could just do things that we know are safe. This life that we create to avoid rejection could work, but we all know no matter what we do, there is no safety, because life is uncertain. You could take every precaution and make so many sacrifices and still not get the security that you seek. And the more we make our lives smaller, the harder it is to really have the life that we want. And eventually we feel the unhappiness that we tried to avoid, because we feel the pain of not living our best life. Over time, we're not even aware that the pain we feel is directly linked to a specific rejection, but something or someone in the past made us feel that we can't achieve what we truly want, or we can't have the relationship or the job. So what can we do about this? How can we handle rejection better and not shut down? How can rejection become a learning experience to help us grow and expand, instead of shrinking or hiding from our best life? So what we are going to do is take a look at how we could let go a little, open our hearts a little bit, and not let rejection be the story of our lives. Not let rejection dictate what we do next. So it's not about avoiding the pain of rejection. It's about seeing and learning and opening and making sure that whatever has happened doesn't limit you the next time. And instead, you have a more expansive experience moving forward. So here's an exercise to start to process rejection. And the first thing we need to do is create awareness about what we are feeling when we are rejected. We need to ask ourselves, How exactly is this rejection making me feel? Try to stay with it and don't run away from it. It's hard, and I'm not saying don't take a break from it, but try to stay with the pain of what is making you feel so bad. And sometimes you'll be really surprised. Sometimes it's not the specific rejection about a relationship or a job, and it's about how the rejection is making you feel. Sometimes the rejection is making us feel less, like we can't have the life that we want. So we need to try to separate the actual rejection from the feeling. If the rejection is about not getting a job, ask yourself, is my pain from not getting this job that's hurting me so much? Or is it the fact that I don't think I'm going to get another job? Or I'm not going to get the job that I want? I don't think I'll ever be successful. I'm not capable of the job that I desire. Try to look at that. Because if you just reacted to what's happening on the outside, you're going to get your back up and may never apply for a job like that again, or not expand your search for your dream job because you don't think it's possible. But if instead you look at the inside, you look where the fear is, where that rejection takes you, it could really be the beginning of something very big for you. It can allow you to heal the real pain that is holding you back and not allowing you to move forward. Another important aspect of not closing down when we feel rejected is to remember that life has maybe, and we don't know what a particular rejection actually means. We don't know if not getting a job means the job wasn't for us. Maybe there's a better job. Maybe we need to work on a particular skill or change direction. The most important thing is not to let the outside experience define your inside experience. When the outside experience defines our inner world, this is when rejection becomes really toxic. If we let the outside world control us, every rejection, every disappointment, and every time we don't get what we want, we will fall apart and believe that we're not good enough or we could never achieve the life we want. Instead, if we could stay aware of our outer and inner experiences, we can process our emotions and feelings differently. We can choose not to let the outside world define us and build resilience to go back out into the world. It's a process to try to learn the lessons of rejection without shutting down. And sometimes it's hard because we don't want to feel the pain again of getting rejected at a job or getting rejected by a friend or a lover. But if we don't get back out there, eventually the pain will stop us from living our best life. The pain will create a smaller life for ourselves to feel safe. But the truth is that smaller life will not be stable either. So you think you're saving yourself from all the pain by not taking chances and risks. But life can also change and there are no guarantees. So at least if you're out there living your best life, you're more likely to have the strength and the courage to deal with what's happening and enter a larger and more expansive playing field to create a life that will fulfill your needs and make you happy. We need to be very tender with ourselves when it comes to rejection, but we also need to be very honest about what is the experience on the outside and what is our experience on the inside, and make sure we don't turn on ourselves. We need to take responsibility for what we need to, but we need to make sure we open up again. We open our hearts again because the point of rejection is not to close our hearts. It's to be vulnerable. It's to be open. And again, the maybe practice is so powerful to get you through a lot because we recognize that no matter what the rejection is, maybe everything is still okay. And maybe we're okay just the way we are. And going back to my story when those ladies rejected me in the carpool, I decided to get my own group together. I didn't want to drive alone, and I made the best of it. I realized that there's always someone out there that will accept us and will love us, that will give us an opportunity again. But it can't happen if you're not accepting yourself and you're out of the playing field. And it can't happen if you're hiding at home and you're not making the biggest and best life for yourself. So we have to find a way to get out there and find a way to nurture the pain of rejection, to keep our hearts open because it's our vulnerability that allows us to our greatness. It's that openness, that willingness to try new things, to get out there and just keep going day after day, moment to moment. And remember, all creation happens in the present. So the minute we decide to be present and open to what life has in store for us, rejection means so much less. If you like this podcast, please review it on iTunes. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you could email me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. If you want to buy my book, The Gift of Maybe, it's available at all major bookstores and online retailers. I hope you enjoyed this podcast today. And maybe rejection is just the beginning of a path for you to create a more meaningful and joyful life.